الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ أخذنا ميثاق بني إسرائيل لا تعبدون إلا الله وبالوالدين إحسانا وذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وقولوا للناس حسنا وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة ثم توليتم إلا قليلا منكم وأنتم معرضون صدق الله العظيم. In continuation of ayat number 83 of Surat al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the covenant that He took from the Bani Israel. And this covenant was in the form of ahkam, laws that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala laid out for the Bani Israel, divided into awamir and nawahi, commandments and prohibitions. The first and foremost, which is a very, very foundational aqeedah, a very foundational belief, is that the Bani Israel, they were commanded, La ta'buduna illa Allah. Do not worship anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not involve in shirk. Do not associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next hukum or command in the form of an amr is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the Bani Israel وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and do ihsan to your parents. Show kindness. And the word ihsan actually means that you genuinely do more for someone than what that person has done for you. That is what is ihsan, to show more kindness and more favor to someone than what they have done for you. If someone shows us some kind of kindness or does us a favor, and we repay the person an equivalent of that favor, that is called adl, and justice. Someone helps us in a time of difficulty, or someone gives us some kind of favor in any way. If we repay that favor to how they have taken care of us, or how they did for what they did for us, that is called justice, or establishing justice, adl. If we go above and beyond that, we'll try our best to help that person more than what they did for us, and that falls under ihsan. Should be understood that first and foremost, to do adl with the parents is very difficult. To be just and show justice to our parents, that is very difficult. It is almost near impossible to do justice for what the parents have done for us before we came into this dunya, before we came into this world. How much difficulty the mother took upon herself. Then when we were born, the infant time, when we were infants, we didn't know anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran regarding that time, La ta'adamuna shay'a. You didn't know anything at that time. وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. When we made for you sight and hearing and understanding, that you may be grateful. So in that very young age, all the way up until some level of our adulthood, what kind of favors the parents did for us. And you see the child, for those who are then blessed with children, they realize what their parents did for them. That you see when the child goes through any kind of sickness, any kind of difficulty, the mother is ready to spend the whole night awake. The father is also under stress and duress. Difficulty after difficulty the parents take upon themselves for the upbringing of the child. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us of that time. And this is styled in many places in the Quran, when you find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about His haqq, His right, The next thing he tells us is that وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, that this human being is commanded to do ihsan with his parents. Just to do justice to the parents for the time that we spent as our children, that is almost impossible. How many nights, countless number of nights they spent awake. How many difficulties they took upon themselves. Times when we were sick, times when we were not able to even take care of ourselves, the stress and the hardships that we may have gone through. What the parents took upon themselves in raising the child and protecting the child. Just to pay that back, it's impossible. Now we become adults, we have our own families. How much do we even go back and take care of our parents? How much do we stay in touch with our parents? So these are things that, first, just to establish that justice, that is very difficult. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that that's not what is demanded of you. What is demanded of you is بِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Is that we have told you to be kind, to do ihsan to your parents. Go above and beyond, at least try. There are things that it is not just enough that now we live in a society where it's a very strange society. They have to have a day for the parent, Mother's Day and Father's Day. They have one day out of the 365 days of the year, subhanAllah. What about the rest of the year? We just say we love you and this is it. Hardly stay in touch, hardly. This is not the way it should be. This is not even human. This is not even being human. Rather, we should try our best at every kind of demand, what kind of haqq and huquq our parents have on us. In the Quran, when you read the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about shukr and gratitude. But He gives us an example in the Quran. He tells us, وَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيْكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we have commanded this human being to take care of his parents. His mother bore hardship upon hardship and also took care of him. At least for 2 years, the first 2 years before the child, for the time that we spend in the womb of the mother, and then 1.5 years or 1 year, a little over 1 year. What difficulties the mother goes through in taking care of that child. When the time comes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, just for this much, the least you can do is anishkur li wa liwalidayk. You be grateful to me and be grateful to your parents. There was a time when you were so weak you were nothing. You could have been crushed and destroyed. You could have been finished off. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who put that rahmah, that love, that affection in the hearts of the parents. That they were able to that they allowed themselves to take care of you. Otherwise, there are many, many cases, even within the animal kingdom and the animal world, where when the children are born, the mother doesn't take care of them. In fact, they have to try and fend for themselves to some degree. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this system of love and affection so that the parents take care of the child. How many things are already arranged before we even come into this dunya? Who made all of these arrangements? So the least that is demanded of us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the parents the zari'ah, made the parents the means through which we were taken care of at a very, very young time in our life. At a time when we were most weak. At a time when we had nothing, we didn't know anything. Allahu alladhi khalaqakum min du'af. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that it is Allah who has created you from weakness, a very great weakness at the time. We come into this dunya, we don't know anything. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made these arrangements for the parents to take care of us. Yes, there are, when it comes to priorities. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it comes to huququl ibad, the rights of the servants, the greatest haqq amongst the people around us, as far as huququl ibad is concerned, the greatest right is the right that the parents have on us. But there is a right even above that, is the huququllah, the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we are told, لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. There's no obedience in the creation when it comes to the disobedience of the Creator. If anything in creation tells us to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we're not to obey them. We're not to obey that creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in various places in the Quran, even regarding the parents, وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. If your parents, they make an effort to try and make you associate partners with me, such things you don't have any knowledge of, فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا, so don't obey them. But that doesn't mean that we become disobedient and rebellious and we give up on our parents and we leave their company. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then commands us, وَصَاحِبُهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. You become their best companion in the best way in this world. You show them utmost respect. So this is the style in the Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned His haqq. You'll find in many places in the Quran that the next haqq that is mentioned is the haqq and the right of the parents. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here also in Surat Baqarah, when He's mentioning rights, He starts and begins with Himself. That you've been commanded, لا تعبدون إلا الله, that you do not associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, you've been commanded to try and do ihsan with your parents. Go above and beyond, try your best. If you cannot even do that, the least you can do is try to break even and do justice with your parents. But you're commanded and demanded, it is what is demanded of you is to go above and beyond that. And so much so that in ayat of the Quran we're told, فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفْ. Don't even say uff to them. Uff is a term or a phrase used for a kind of dislike or discomfort for them telling us to do something and we don't like to do it. We should not express our displeasure. Even if we don't like to do it, you have to do it. Your parents tell you. Many rights they have, the level of rights that they have. Sahabi came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he complained to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam about his son. There was a Sahabi came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was a youth. He brought a complaint about his father. He said that my father is taking from my wealth and sometimes he's there, I cannot even do my own things. He tells me to do things at a time when I'm busy. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told him, bring your father. The father was brought. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked the father that what is going on? You explain your side. So the father, he said, oh Rasul of Allah, the reality is that this is my son. I raised him. But now I tell him to do certain things, or I want to do certain things, and I command him in a certain way. And now he's slowly starting to disobey me, or he doesn't want to listen. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he looked at the son and said, what is your case? He said, yes, but the son, he said, yes, but my father is telling me to give him my wealth, or commanding me to do certain things that I don't feel that I should be doing. So the father, he read some poetry, an explanation of the kind of way that he raised his son. They're very powerful couplets. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam grabbed the boy, grabbed him and said, listen, your life and your wealth and everything that you have, it belongs to your father. You don't become a man in front of your father. No? Everything you own, whatever you think is yours, if your father tells you to use it in a certain way, you just obey your father. You don't know what everything that you have and what you think your service you're doing to your parents, it's not even equivalent to one night that they spent awake for you. The kind of level of respect that is demanded. There was a woman, a Sahabiya. She came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and she said that my husband is passing away. If you can send someone to come and make him say the kalima. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked her, who are you? Who's your husband? She said, I am the wife of Alqama radiyallahu anhu, a very famous Sahabi. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he told the Sahaba, sent a few Sahaba that go to the house and try to make him say the kalima, he's passing away. So they came to him, the few Sahaba, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu and a few others. They came and they were persuading him to say the kalima. The Sahabi told him, listen, I know the kalima better than you. I've been saying it my whole life. But my tongue isn't moving right now. I don't know why. So they came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They said, it's very strange. This Sahabi, his tongue is not moving. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked the Sahaba that, do you know about this Sahabi? What is your opinion about him? So all of the Sahaba said that if it comes to righteousness, then he has beaten almost most of us. Most of the Sahaba said that as far as righteousness, he's one of the most righteous of us. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked his wife that, is there anything that maybe you have some grudge against him? What is your opinion about your husband? She said, he's a very pious man. He's very, very trustworthy, very loyal. He helps the poor. He prays salah. He spends his night in ibadah. You find most of the time he's fasting. Very righteous person. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam then asked, that is this Sahabi's parents alive, mother or father? They said, yes, his mother is alive. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam sent some Sahaba that you can ask her to come, but if she cannot, then I will go, I will meet her. Ask her to come. So when the Sahaba came to the mother and she found out, oh, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is summoning me, old woman. So she immediately got up in that old age and she came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked her, what is your opinion about your son? So she said, he's a very pious man. Everyone knows about his piety. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, no, what is about you? You're telling me what everyone thinks about him. I know, I'm talking, what do you think? What is your opinion about him? So the mother, she said, after he got married, he abandoned me. And he gave preference to his wife. Hardly does he ever come and even meet with me or something, This is my... So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told the mother that, what if I bring some wood here and I burn him in front of you? Would you like that? She said, never would I like something like that. I can never tolerate. How can a mother tolerate seeing her child get burned in front of her? He said, because of you not forgiving your son, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive him. So he may be burned in the fire of Jahannam. So she said, I forgive him from the bottom of my heart. I don't hold anything. A mother is mother. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sent the Sahaba that go check and see if he can say the kalima. When they came close to the house, they heard him shouting the kalima. And he passed away in this condition. After the burial, the janazah was done and dafn was done, he was buried. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he commented that even if a man is the most righteous of men, but his parents have something in their heart against him, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept that righteousness of that man. So be very, very, very careful about the feelings of your parents. Sometimes we don't realize we do something that causes their displeasure. And because of that displeasure, things in our lives don't work the way they should work. Many of the difficulties sometimes we face is because of our disobedience to our parents to such a degree, even they may not show it, they may not express it, but deep down inside they're hurt by some of our actions. We should be very, very, very careful. So this is the aspect of respect for the parents. Because in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, justice will be established. And as humans, we know we can never even do justice with our parents, let alone do ihsan. So in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the parents will come and say, oh Allah, what did I do for my child and what did he do to me? What do you think the response of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be? There will be complete justice. On the Day of Judgment, it is mentioned that the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be established to such a degree that if there was a ram, the goat, the ram that had horns, and it hit another ram that didn't have horns, so on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring back these two rams. And the one that didn't have horns will be given horns so he can hit the one that hit him. This is how much justice Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will establish on the Day of Judgment. What do you think will be our condition? How many people we really owe? And I don't mean financially. How many people do we owe even our lives to? If no one else, at least our parents. Let us be very, very, very careful with the dealing of your parents. Sometimes they ask us to do things and we become either lazy or we show some kind of discomfort. Even then you should do it. But at least, to the best of your ability, keep them happy. Yes, if they tell you to do something haram, or they tell you to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly tells us in the Quran, فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا, don't obey them. On the Day of Judgment, you can say, oh Allah, they commanded me to disobey you, I cannot disobey you. This much I cannot do. There are limits to that. That's the only limit. But other than that, even in the books of fiqh, it is to the extent that obey your parents. It is a hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told Mu'adh bin Jabal radiyallahu anhu, when he was sending him as governor of Yemen, he told Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, gave Mu'adh bin Jabal radiyallahu anhu much advice. Part of that advice, there were 10 things that he gave to Mu'adh bin Jabal radiyallahu anhu. And one of those 10 was that never disobey your parents. Listen to your parents. Even if they tell you to give up all of your wealth or to even leave your spouse, do it. Listen to your parents even that much. They have that right on you. They have that much haqq on you. Yes, the fuqaha have given many reasons. You can read the book of fiqh related to this hadith. But that much haqq, that much right, the parents have on all of us. Sometimes we become, now we're adults, Now we are also adults. We think that we have our way. We're the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We've been sent to this earth to display the best of akhlaq. And if we cannot even have akhlaq with our own families, beginning with our parents, then what business do we have being nice to other people? Even if the whole world says you're a nice person, but those who really know you, your parents and your siblings and your spouse, they say that no, this person is not a good person. Then remember, the opinion of those people who know you, it matters much more than the opinion of the whole world. So be very careful with regards to the rights of the parents. Be very cautious of it. Take care of the parents as much as you can. And remember, it even comes in the hadith regarding rewards, that even smiling at your parents, making them happy, and even them smiling at you, the reward of an accepted hajj. You know how much you go through for hajj? For those who've been to hajj, subhanAllah, the only thing we say is hajj, because there's no way to describe it. For those who've been to hajj, they know hajj is hajj. There's no way to explain it. How much you have to go through. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, throughout of His infinite mercy, has given us through the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a hadith, that even smiling, making your parents smile, to make a Muslim smile, that's a sadaqah. There's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, tabassum fi wajhi akhika sadaqah, to put a smile on the face of your Muslim brother is sadaqah. Imagine putting a smile on the face of your parents. That's how much reward it carries. Many of us, unfortunately, what discussion do we have with our parents? Hardly we discuss any. We don't even have a cup of tea with them. Even if we do, we don't even talk to them. Be your parents' best friend. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us in the Quran, وَصَاحِبُهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. This is in regards, in Surah Luqman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if your parents are trying their best to make you do shirk, then don't obey them. But to those kind of parents, the parents who are trying to make you do shirk, for those parents, صَاحِبُهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا, you become the best companion for them in this world. You become their best friend. That is for parents who are commanding you to do something wrong. What about parents who have never commanded you to do something haram? What will be their right? You should be their best friend. Share things with them. Unfortunately, we live in a very strange time, in a very strange society. Amongst the ashratu sa'ah that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he told us, amongst the signs of the Day of Judgment, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he spoke about certain evils that will come in a society. It's a long hadith. Some 13 or 15 things that are mentioned in that hadith. That will appear in a society, and after that destruction will follow. One of those, or two of those, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, وَطَاعَ الرَّجُلُ إِمْرَأَتَهُ وَعَقَّ أُمَّهُ وَأَدْنَى صَدِيقَهُ وَأَقْصَى أَبَاهُ. That a man, he will obey his wife, especially when it comes to things that are haram. وَعَقَّ أُمَّهُ, and he will shun his mother. He will not listen to his mother, not care for what his mother says. وَأَدْنَى صَدِيقَهُ, he will bring his friends very close. وَأَقْصَى أَبَاهُ, he will alienate his father. This is amongst the signs of the Day of Judgment. There are 13 other signs also, or 15 total signs mentioned in the hadith. But then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that when you see these signs, then at that time, just wait. Rihan hamra, for red dust storms, storm that has fire with it. You see sometimes in the summer what happens. You see the whole Florida on fire, the whole California on fire. How many others? Now there are forest fires. How do you think they're just coming out of nowhere? These are all coming from, even just the other day, subhanAllah, it says winter is starting. You have states that already have snow. And there's a massive fire in California. There was a massive evacuation. Yesterday, 2-3 days ago. Hardly 2-3 days ago. Where this is coming out of nowhere. This is a adab and punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the actions of the people. Amongst them, the disobedience of the parents, the alienation of the parents. Now you find what is going on in the society. We live in a society where the parents are almost left to themselves. This should not be the condition of a Muslim, ever, to leave the parents like this. We should have some system of khidmah, some system of service to the parents. Whatever we can to the best of our degrees. They forgot about their comfort for us. The least we can do is try and repay them in some way, at least serve them in some way. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this hukum also to the Bani Israel. But it's a very, very clear hukum to us believers and Muslims. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Do ihsan to your parents, first and foremost. They have the greatest haqq on you. They have the greatest right on you. After that, وَذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. وَذِي الْقُرْبَى, then your relatives, your siblings, then the next circle, and then the next circle. You have your aunts and your uncles, and then go to the next circle, the cousins, and then so on. ذِي الْقُرْبَى, those are your relatives. وَالْيَتَامَى, and then those that are the orphans in a society. They have the next haqq. Once the relatives are taken care of, then you focus on the orphans. Especially those orphans that don't have anything. And then masakeen, those that are really in need. Those that don't have any means of going about or making a livelihood. So they also have a haqq and right on us. These are the huquq al-ibad. Our deen, the deen of Islam. It is full of huquq al-ibad, the rights of the servants. If you open the books of fiqh, when it comes to ibadah, the worship, ibadat, you find around 40,000 to 50,000 masail, rules and regulations, details, up to 50,000. How is salah prayed, how are all the different moves of salah, the various formations, what are the details of zakah, what are the details of sawm, what are the details of hajj, and so on and so forth. The ibadat, the worships, the rituals. And how many masail are there in the deen of Islam? Over 700,000 masail, rules and regulations. Do you know what the rest of the 700,000 are for? The huquq al-ibad. Our deen is full of huquq al-ibad. The rights of servants, the rights of the people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a religion that we can build a society on this earth that will be like paradise. This is what Islam was sent for. Unfortunately, how much of our own religion do we really know? Ibadat are not the main thing of Islam. Yes, there are faraid you have to do. This does not diminish in any way the importance of the ibadat. You have to perform. There's no option. Sometimes we think these are options. Salah is not an option. Fard salah. What is fard? It's not an option. It's an obligation. Sometimes we think, we can apply our own. I give you a simple example. We live in America. This example works for those who are in America. If you're watching this video from somewhere else, it may not apply to you. But in America, sometimes you get this thing from the court. You're summoned, You call it jury duty. I was trying to find the name. I lost it. So the jury duty, A very beautiful name. It's your duty to show up for the jury. And they make it sound very nice. The truth is, if you don't show up, there was a youth that was sent to jail for 10 days, It's a long story about that. We're not going to get into the racial problems of this society. I'm just sharing with you. Once you're summoned, you have to go to your employer and tell him, listen, I've been summoned. If your employer stops you, the government will come after the employer. They will shut down, they'll mess him up. And big fines and whatever. There's not option. You're summoned, bus. Jury duty. So consider salah jury duty. You don't have an option. Don't think, I can pray whenever I want. No. When you're summoned for salah, this is hayya ala salah, what is this? You're summoned for salah. Come for salah. Leave everything. Come for salah. So in no way am I diminishing the value of the ibadat. I'm just telling you that the vast majority of our deen is full of huquq al-ibad. The rights of our fellow believers, the rights of the fellow people, even the rights of the neighbors. Islam has taken Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that Jibreel alayhi salam, he came to me so many times regarding the rights of the neighbors. Every time he would come to me, he told me about the rights of neighbors, He said, I started having a fear that the neighbor is going to be part of inheritance also, And maybe this hukum will be coming now. That part of the inheritance, live beside rich people, I'm just sharing with you that this might be the next hukum coming, that now also part of the inheritance, that the neighbor has a say in your inheritance. This is how much like the rights, even those that are not even Muslim. So this deen of Islam is full of rights, especially the huquq al-ibad. The most important of those are those that are the rights of the parents. We should never ever underestimate the value of what our parents have done for us, and we should never underestimate what right they have on us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and give all of us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغِ. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحان